Welcome to the safest and the best place on YouTube. My name is Abigail, if you don't already know, and we have a daughter, that's not up to a year, and she's been growing graciously, thankfully. She's been doing amazing. She's been hitting her milestones, and yeah, she's been doing amazing. I'm actually going live these days because there's no storage on my phone, and then YouTube does this thing where it just really, I don't want to say annoy, but it just kind of like pisses me off. So I just rather record in real time and then just upload it. It feels easier for me that way, at least for now. It's a seasonal thing, it's not going to be forever. So yeah, I wanted to talk about our daughter. Monitoring spirit, thank you so much, babe. I just saw the come on the life. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about our daughter and her growth and how far we've come as parents. Yeah, pretty much. So like I said, she's not up to a year. And after I exclusively breastfed her, right? And so after exclusively breastfeeding, while we're trying to wean her, we noticed that all the foods that we introduced to her, she did not eat them. Rather, she was more comfortable with pap. We bought like loads of cereal, different brands, different flavors to try out. Hopefully she gets to pick one that she'd like. She first liked like the Cerelac brand, and then after the next time you give her Cerelac, she's not just going to take it, she's just going to refuse it. She wasn't throwing up, she wasn't doing anything, but she just wasn't accepting it. And then we moved on to what's it called? We moved on to other brands I wouldn't want to mention, but it was still the same response. So I decided I was going to, make pap for her. So I make pap, with grains. I use millet, yellow corn, guinea corn. Yeah, those are the three main grains that I used, and she was awesome. She's been eating that, she's been doing great, But then I started bothering about the what's it called, nutritional value she was getting from that. Of course, she's a growing baby, and she needs certain nutritional requirements, and that's when I now started researching and reading up on that, and um, the right nutritional requirement for her, when to introduce what, in what quantity and what capacity to introduce what, to her, and all of that. So I now started making soy. I make soy by myself. What I do is that I get soya beans, I soak it. Soaking is to get rid of the anti-nutrients. Soybean has phytic acid. Now, this phytic acid can hurt or upset a baby's stomach. And baby I'm talking about here is not to a year, bear in mind. So yeah, I soak it for about 8 hours overnight. Sometimes I soak it for as much as 24 hours. And after that, I peel off the skin just to take out the husks. And then I dry it. I was using my microwave oven to dry, but I don't know why my microwave oven just stopped heating. So I started drying with my oven in the gas cooker. So I dry that, and then I get dates. So what I do is, if I have 12 cups of, and this measurement was because I already discussed with my pediatric nutritionist. Okay, you could consult your doctor, but you could just, I don't know, wing it, whatever. Moms always have instincts. So, but yeah, this is not a medical advice. So if I get like 12, for 12, this is what I actually use. This is the measurement I use, because at her age, she's not up to a year, she needs about 1,000 to 1,200 kilocalories of energy, and she needs about 18 grams of protein every day. So I get the date. I get 12 cups of soybean, and I get 3 cups of dates, or 4 cups of dates. Then I wash the dates, de-seed it, and also dry it. And then I get 2 big dried tilapia fish, and then I get a cup full of big sized crayfish, and I blend that together. you know that this girl went from being, she's great, like she's hitting her milestone, she's doing amazing, but she was just not adding weight. She was looking malnourished and it was bothering me. But when I introduced this my soya mix, it was high in protein. I used 4 scoops and a scoop was about 4.6. I feel like a nerd giving you guys all these measurements and whatnot, but yeah, I'm that meticulous. So a scoop is about 4.6 grams, and that contains all what I just listed. So I used 4 scoops in her measurement. Her weight significantly improved. Like, there was so much improvement in her weight. It doesn't mean that the weight of a baby doesn't determine whether or not the baby is healthy. Hi Presley, hi, thank you so much for joining my live. Please subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much. So yeah, baby M is around the corner. She will definitely most likely pop up in between the live, but yeah, just bear with me. So her weight significantly improved. She was sleeping better, she was eating healthier and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, it means that I'm doing something right. And so I discussed with her pediatric nutritionist. You guys, I feel like I'm sounding like a nerd, but I mean, I'm that meticulous. I said, when I knew I was going to exclusively breastfeed, and oh, great, good to have you here. Great to have you here, Presley. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so when I knew that I was going to exclusively breastfeed and my mom did not have, hi Zia, hi, thank you for joining my live. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so when I knew I was going to exclusively breastfeed and my mom never exclusively breastfed any of her children, I had to go and take a course on infant nutrition and all of that, just so that I have adequate theoretical knowledge, because of course every mom will know that head knowledge is different from experience when the real deal happens and all of that. So when we discussed with the pediatric nutritionist and everything, my concerns was that her major meal was just pap. She wasn't taking anything. She was still even being bottle fed at 11 months. She wasn't taking solids. She wasn't even using spoons to eat. She was still being bottle fed and all of that. For the bottle feeding, he was like, she's doing great, but that I should exchange 1 bottle with, hi, you're from Turkey. Nice to meet you. I'm Abigail. I'm from Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So the doctor was like, she's doing great, but I should exchange 1 bottle for spoon feeding, and she just make it fun, no pressure and all of that. And then when it now came to the pap and whatnot, after I discussed the mix that I make, that's the soya bean and the date syrup and the dates and the fish, all dry ingredient that I mixed with her pap together with her milk, and her weight was doing great. She started walking at 10 months and all of that. He said it was great. However, she's more comfortable with bottle feeding because she has associated it with warmth. Hi, life is good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. Oh yeah, so he was like, she has associated bottle feeding with satisfaction and all of that. So I could also just try to gradually introduce her to spoon feeding and all that. And then he now also went on to say that, what was I talking about? He went on to say that because of the texture of the pap, because it's usually very smooth and very easy to swallow, she's already comfortable with that. Thank you so much, Zia. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, so she's already comfortable with that, and it will take a while for her to adjust to other textures and whatnot. So but that we could gradually introduce other textures. So now that's my new month challenge, to work on introducing her to soft textured food, so she's not only stuck on pap and bottle feeding, because she's going to be one soon, and she's still being bottle fed. Another concern I had was the fact that she sleeps all through the night. I know that's not supposed to be a concern because I'm supposed to be happy, right? But I just Thank you so much. Life is good. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, I mean, I just wanted to be sure that she's fine and she's doing great. And it was like, yeah, because of course, obviously, she's comfortable and whatnot. And then I was like, oh, she's so active. She wakes up and she hits the ground running and everything, you know. And I was like, oh, that's the sign. And then another thing that bothered me was the fact that, she, sorry, just a moment. Mama, don't do that. No, you can't do that, Mama. Take. Say thank you. Another thing that bothered me was the fact that she didn't always cry whenever she was hungry. Like, you just have to use your instinct to know when she was hungry so you could feed her and all of that. And then he was like, oh, she's doing great. That means that she is not emotionally unstable. She has attained emotional stability, and she has grown to trust us as parents. If a child is not being too fussy, you know, always crying and whatnot, the child trusts that, you know, her needs or his needs, as the case may be, will be met, you know, before things get out of hand. So her not crying whenever she's hungry, or her not crying at all, you know, I just take the initiative to time her every 2 hours, and then I feed her. And the thing is, if she's not hungry, she would reject the bottle. But if she's hungry, she'll just go on to eat. And I'm like, why did you not let me know that you're hungry? If I didn't feed you, wouldn't tell me that you're hungry and all of that. But yeah, so it was like, that's a good sign that she's doing great and whatnot. Mama, you want to say hi? Okay, come and say hi. Come and say hi. Say hi, Mama. Say hi, Mama. Say hi. Say hi, Mama. She's probably bored and wants me to play with her. Okay, so yeah, pretty much. And then, yeah, so I just thought, oh, you know what? Why don't I share this? Because it was such a fun conversation. It was so enlightening. It was an interactive one. I learned so much, you know, especially calculating the daily nutritional requirement that she needs, especially for her age, was such an insightful conversation. And then of course she eats like chicken. Thank you so much. Life is good. Thank you. Zia, oh, you asked how old I am. I am actually 30, in my early 30s. Okay, please subscribe to the channel. Hold on, Mama. Okay, yes, so take. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Okay, so yeah. Okay, I just wanted to, what was it called? I wanted to attach like a tag to it. So pretty much, so it just helped me to realize that, oh, she's doing great and she's right on track, and you know, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary, and that helped me relax, you know. I also, like I said, one of the major concerns for me was her weight. She didn't seem to be gaining so much weight. Why doesn't this thing want to leave my screen? Why is it this way? Anyway, so she seemed to be doing great. Why is it blocking my face? do I get rid of this thing? Okay, I can actually reduce it. Oh, great. Okay, so yeah, my major concern was her weight. She didn't seem to be adding as much weight, but she was great, you know. But I mean, at every stage, you'd expect that there'll be certain increase in weight gain and whatnot. And then it was just the normal way of just giving her formula and what. I'm not saying formulas are bad. I'm just saying that, you know, we can always improvise. And I'm all for organic, homemade. Nothing beats a homemade food. Thank you. How old are you? Life is good. I don't know. Yeah, I would love to know how old you are. So yeah, nothing beats homemade food, because I mean, store-bought is great, especially for busy moms, and the way the world evolves now, everybody is busy. Oh, you're serious? Oh, you're so sweet. Wow. Oh, that's so sweet. You know what? My son is actually okay. No. You're way older than him. No. You're not way older. You're older than him with a year. He's 12. He's going to be 13 in March. So yeah, nothing beats homemade food, because the store-bought has preservatives, of course, to improve the shelf life, and then of course, because of how it is made, some of the nutritional value that it ought to possess or it ought to have would also get lost. So I'm all for organic, cooked, homemade meals, and so that's why I'm always looking for ways to improvise and, you know, feed organically, as healthy as possible, for as long as you can, obviously, because it helps not just their gut metabolism, it just helps overall, and you're sure of what you're putting in, you know, to your child's body. Now for sugar substitute, obviously it's not advisable to use sugar, you know. When I didn't know better, there were drinks that were always giving her, like Ribena, you know, fruit juices and whatnot. But then I realized that actually making the juices yourself or giving the fruit yourself is way better than buying, you know, store-bought juice and all of that, because sometimes most of them are made from concentrate, which is a whole lot of sugar, and it's not healthy or advisable for, you know, growing children or even adults, as the case may be. Okay, I'll answer how many kids I have. I have just two. I have a son and I have a daughter. My son is 12 and my daughter is not up to 1. So yeah, nothing beats homemade food. So we started making everything ourselves. So for the cereals, I make the cereals myself, and then for sugar substitute, that's for her elder brother who loves to play football, by the way. I make dates. So I use dates and I extract the juice from the dates, and that we use that as a sugar substitute. And then I could upload a video of that on my channel showing how we do that. And then for, of course, protein source, like I said, we're using milk, just milk, but she wasn't giving what we wanted. And then that's when, you know, we discovered soya bean, and so we started using soya bean with protein, with soybean with fish and crayfish and dates. And then she started doing great and she was doing amazing, and I was like, oh, am I living under the rock? And then I went to speak to her doctor about it, and I was like, oh, it's great. If she's doing so well, you know, with that, then that's great. We should just keep at it. But I make sure to give her a bottle of milk, so she has a bottle of full cream milk every morning. You know, one thing I've realized is that every child is unique. Every child is different, and they attain their own milestones differently. I've learned to not compare children. I've also learned to give mothers their credit and their flowers, because you might think, oh, you're not doing great, but then I can assure you, mom, that you're doing way better than you think you are, you know. And then don't compare your child with another child, hitting milestones earlier, later, whatever the case. Every child is different and every child will grow differently. The most important thing is that you understand your child, you know how best to take care of your child, and yeah, every other thing will fall into place. And then you're open to learning. This is one thing I'm always very particular about: open to learning, open to becoming a better person, open to improving yourself, open to improving your skills, whatever it is that you don't know, figuring it out. Don't just be redundant. Don't just stick to the old knowledge that you have. Always like learn new things, become better, ultimately be happy for yourself, take care of yourself, and every other thing. No, I don't. Life is good. I don't. My son may probably know about that because he plays game a lot, but I don't. Yes, of course, every mom would. He also has limits. He doesn't play games on weekdays because he has school work to do, but he's allowed to play games on weekends. And he watches loads of football because he loves to play football. So he watches football. He's an Arsenal fan, and then he watches Formula One as well. So yeah, that's what he does. Okay, yes. So yeah, I was talking about how important it is to. No, you cannot come. No, you cannot come. So yeah, important it is to improve oneself, especially as women, especially as mothers. Don't be redundant, don't be reluctant. Just be open to learning. Whatever it is that you don't know, accept the fact that you don't know it, and then look for ways to become better in that thing. Look for ways to know it, so that, because you can only give from what you have. You can only teach from what you know. You can only it's just the only thing you know is what you're going to give, and you don't want to give the wrong information. You don't want to mislead. I think it's very critical, especially as moms, to not mislead or misinform due to ignorance. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that ignorance is an excuse, especially in this time and age. I don't think that is an acceptable excuse, for not giving our children the best. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, neither am I saying anybody's perfect. We're all work in progress and we're all learning. However, whatever it is that we don't know, just be open to learning, and it starts from loving yourself, loving you as a woman, loving you, because you read on the internet these days and the things that are happening, especially to females, it's just mind-boggling, and it feels so sad, because I feel like if these people know better, they'll definitely do better. If they had proper guidance or proper mentorship, I could be wrong. People just want to experiment. There's this youthful exuberance, whatever it is. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, I want to believe that if a child is properly guided, right, especially with prayers and with God, you can be rest assured that the child will be fine, especially girls, because I feel like they are prone to certain things. They shouldn't, I just feel they shouldn't be left idle. They shouldn't be left unattended to. They shouldn't be made to feel insecure. They shouldn't be made to feel like marriage is an achievement, or being with a person is a trophy or something to be coveted. There's more to life than just all of that. I just feel like there's just something that we can do and do better in terms of raising girl children. Like I said, I didn't want to be a girl mom, because it comes with a lot of mental stress. Guys are just guys can be guys can be anything. Thank you so much. I'm speaking English. Like I said, I'm Nigerian. I speak English and I speak Yoruba. Yoruba is the western part of Nigeria. That's the language that the western part of Nigeria speak. And then I speak Igbo because I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria. And then I speak a bit of French. So those are the languages that I speak. So as a girl mom, it just triggered something in me, because you just have to be careful, in terms of pedophilic attacks. Girls are usually the primary targets, and all of that. And especially the one that is even trending now, where you see, I saw a 24-year-old girl that was already married with 3 children, which is kudos to her. I mean, if that's what she wanted, and if that was what her vibe was, if she wanted to be a young mom, which is great, and all of that. But now hearing stories of your husband beating you, pulling off your hair, and then you have to go back to your parents, and your parents will have to call the man, and then and ask you to apologize, and vice versa. And then you go back to him because you don't have a choice, or because you feel like that's the only way. I don't know what the mindset is. I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. I don't understand the ideologies. I don't have insider information. But hearing or just reading it or listening to it from the outsider point of view, it's just saddening. It is honestly saddening, because not every girl, not every female child would be exposed to such. Not every female child will get to experience such. So why are some parents feeling that it's okay to let your child be a walkover, or let your daughter be a pushover, all in the name of staying married, all in the name of being a married woman or whatever? I feel like it's a low self-esteem type of thing. And I try to be very modest, and I try to, what they say, like, if you're not in the shoes, or if you've never been in certain situations, that you can't speak on it. I think that it just holds me back from saying certain kind of things. But I just want to believe that we can still do better, to be honest. Because why would you let your daughter marry a man that will be beating her? And then when she comes to you as a parent, that you're supposed to guide her and mentor her and teach her the right thing, then you now send her back to the same man, all in the name of, oh, you should have been more submissive, you should have been more obedient. Don't get me wrong, I am a Christian, I'm a child of God, I love God, and I believe so much in submission. I believe so much in marriage. However, I do not believe that marriage should be a bondage. I do not believe that it should be an escape route. I do not believe that it should be a means to an end. I believe that it's something that God created to be pleasant for both parties, to grow, to develop, to become better for each other, to help each other, to improve, and all of that. And not like, it's not supposed to be a thing of a cage. It's not supposed to be like a cage. It's not supposed to be a prison. It's not supposed to be something that you have to endure or bear, and be unhappy being in, and all of that. I feel if you're improved, if you're educated, if you're enlightened, if you know better, if you just believe in yourself much more, I don't know the word to use, some of these things wouldn't happen. And then also for the male children, and that's why I'm very particular about parenting, because it starts from the upbringing. Because I was just talking about how scared I was about having a daughter and all of that. But then if you have a son, and you don't raise your son to respect women, or you don't raise your son to be somebody that has value for not just even a woman, but human life, and you actually believe that the actual way to resolve conflict or dispute is to have conversations like adults, like healthy adults and human beings, then why aren't you doing that? Why are you using violence? Why are you using force? I think force is a medium of timidity, it's a medium of oppression, and it's what shallow-minded people would use. So we can do better in terms of raising our children, in terms of just helping them become better people, being good examples to start with. Hi John, hi, thank you for joining. Hi, please subscribe to the channel, thank you. So yeah, we could use that to raise people that not just have value for other people, but first of all have value for themselves, and see other people as God's creation and as humans. I do believe that it will make the world a better place. Ultimately, I use the Bible. Like I said, I am a child of God. I use the Bible as my yardstick. I use that as my medium for guidance. It helps to guide my decision. It helps to guide my thought process. It helps to guide everything that we do. And I do believe that everyone should do the same as well. I believe that God is the bedrock and God is the foundation. And then afterwards, we should just become better as individuals. What we know that you don't want other people to do to you, then don't do to other people. What you know that you wouldn't take or you wouldn't like, then don't do that to other people. How you wouldn't want your child to be treated, and don't treat other people's children that way. How you wouldn't want your mom, your siblings, whatever, to be treated, then don't do that to other people. I just think that that's the least we can do as humans. So I'm pretty much done ranting, and I'm about to leave now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be able to gain a thing or two, yeah, hopefully, and then I'll probably see you guys again next time. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm so grateful. This means so much to me. This is like my third time coming on live and seeing you guys dropping your comment. Life is good, joy. Every other person that dropped a comment, I'm so grateful. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to my channel. YouTube seems to be frustrating me. I don't know why. It's just dropping my videos. It's just not encouraging and whatnot. So yeah, I'm choosing to go live now as opposed to posting videos and not happy with the views I get and all of that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Bye, and I'll see you next time. I love you all. Life is good. Bye, John. Bye, everyone on still here. Bye, guys.